Hey, welcome to the Summit Host Hangout podcast where you'll learn how to plan, strategize, and launch your profitable online summit. No influencer status necessary. I'm your host, Krista from Summit in a Box, and we are currently in a series about your summit speakers. Today, in episode 113, we're taking a little bit of a different direction and talking to those of you who are interested in speaking at summits, and we're going to cover how to be a good summit speaker. So we'll talk about the top do's and don'ts of being a summit speaker, what summit hosts really want from you, and all of those things will come together to help you be asked to be in summits time and time again, and make the process easier for you. Before we dive in, I want to invite you to join our community of summit hosts. This is a group of thousands of up-and-coming and experienced hosts who get what the summit hosting process looks like and are experiencing all the same things as you throughout the process. So if you're looking to do more speaking, it's also a great place to keep an eye out for hosts looking for speakers on specific topics. To join the Summit Host Hangout Facebook group, head to summitHostHangout.com/community, and I can't wait to see you inside. So let's start by talking about a few things to not do as a summit speaker, some things to avoid. And these aren't just things that could annoy the host. These are things that will help set you up for success as well, which I know you care about if you're looking to do more speaking at summits and keep the hosts happy. So the first thing I want you to avoid is don't agree to a summit before you have all the details. So, I see all kinds of pitches and, the ones from, I'll call them the lazier hosts, they just kind of come out and say, here's what the summit is. Can I have you as a speaker? I'll send more details if you're interested. And it's like, well, I'm not going to agree before I have all of those things, but I know some people do. That's why they send those kinds of pitches. So don't agree before you know exactly what's required of you in terms of your presentation, in terms of any interaction, in terms of promotion. All of that, don't agree before you know what's required. Know what you're going to get in return. So will you get affiliate payment? Will you be able to promote something? Are you getting paid outright? What's that going to look like? And then make sure you know who the audience is and how you fit into helping them. These details are so important to make sure you're being a part of events that you're going to actually enjoy being in and benefit from. The next thing I want you to avoid is make sure you don't agree if you're not truly excited about the topic in the audience. I'm definitely a yes person, so when I get pitched to be in summits, I want to tell these people yes, I really do, but participating is going to turn into a chore for you if you say yes to everything. So only agree if the audience is a perfect fit and the topic you get pitched for is like one of the signature topics you want to talk about. Also, avoid agreeing if you don't plan to do what the host asks for. And this one is the tables are turned a little bit. So these first two were more to benefit you. This one's kind of more for the host. Don't agree if you're not going to do what they ask. And that includes things like promotional requirements. If they want you to send an email and post on social media and you don't plan to do that, don't agree to be in the summit. If you can't meet their requirements for a presentation length and the format, if you can't hit the due dates they have, do not agree to be in the event. It does not leave a good impression with the host. And instead of building a relationship with them, it's going to burn a bridge instead. It also very much decreases the likelihood of them referring you to other hosts or giving you a positive review to someone who asks before sending you an invite to be in their event. So don't agree if you don't plan to do what they're asking of you. And then last, another one to protect you, don't agree if the summit host doesn't really seem like they know what they're doing. So you can probably tell in the pitch you get based on how much detail you're provided with and how it's all laid out. So if you're having to jump through hoops to agree to participate or get the information you need, to me, that's a very good indicator at what the rest of the process is going to look like. If they want you to get on a call to talk about details or anything like that, they're going to require way too much of you throughout the entire thing. And it's a good hint that they don't have the details laid out to just give you right then and there. So watch out for that. It is not worth it to be in a summit with an unorganized host. A good host will make the rest of what we're going to talk about today much easier. So if you're listening to some of these and you're like, that sounds like it requires way too much from me, it would if there was a bad host. So just make sure that you're agreeing to be on summits where the host knows what they're doing. So those are some things to avoid. Now let's shift into what to do to make yourself a good summit speaker. So the first thing I want to say, the most important is to pay attention to and hit your due dates. So you can expect a couple of different due dates to show up when you're a speaker in a summit. For my own summits that I run, I have a due date for when I need basic information from my speakers. That's, a couple weeks after when they agree. I need things like their headshot, their bio, information like that. And then there's another due date a little bit later out for when I need presentations. It is not uncommon for less than 50% of my speakers to hit those due dates, despite multiple reminders, knowing them all up front, all that stuff. As a host, it is very stressful. Do not do that to your host. If you can't hit due dates, don't agree to be a part of the event. If you don't know what the due dates are before you agree, ask them to make sure you can hit them. Ask when they're going to need things from you by, when the presentation will be due, so you know you're only agreeing if you can hit that date. And then I'll say bonus points if you can turn things in early. This is the single best thing you can do to leave a good impression on summit hosts. I actually had someone reach out to me a couple months ago asking if someone was a good summit speaker, and it was someone who had turned her stuff into me a couple weeks early. I was like, oh my gosh, she is the best speaker I've ever had. So excited to recommend this person that made the process easy on me as the host. So pay attention to any due dates and make sure you hit them. The next thing I want you to pay attention to is the emails your host sends. As a speaker, you can expect to get quite a few emails from the event or about the event from the host. This is their way of making sure you have everything you need and keeping you up to date. They're not trying to pester you or be annoying. Well, some of them might be trying to pester you. Good hosts will not be trying to pester you. They'll just be trying to keep you up to date, keep you in the loop, get you everything you need, make sure you don't forget about anything. As a speaker, please read those emails. And if there's action items in them for you, put them somewhere. Add them to Asana or ClickUp or whatever you use for yourself or a team member to make sure that you don't forget once that email is no longer marked as unread. Next up, if hitting due dates is the number one thing you can do to make a good summit speaker, promoting the summit is number two. There is not a whole lot that will mean more to your host than helping them spread the word about the event. And after all, they can only promise you results if those same speakers, including you, pitch in to help spread the word. So as long as you're provided with swipe copy and graphics, help spread the word to get the summit in front of your audience. And if your audience responds well, you see those affiliate commissions and signups start to roll in, you could even promote more than you expected. You'll get a bigger affiliate payout. You are helping your audience by putting an event in front of them that they need, and you're just going to turn into a star speaker by doing that. These are the speakers that stand out to me, and these are the people I invite back to each one of my events. When I go to host a repeat of a past summit, the first thing I do is I go and I sort my list of speakers by who brought in the most affiliate income. Those are the people I'm pitching first because I know they got a lot out of it. I know they were willing to put it in front of their people and that their people agreed that it was a good fit for them. So you will stand out by promoting and then promoting more if your audience responds well. The next thing you can do to be a good virtual summit speaker is make it easy on yourself. Make this process so easy that you can pretty much automate it. So the first thing you can do to make it easy is have a press page on your website with a list of signature topics. That way, when a host decides they want to pitch you, they go to your website to try to decide what topics you could cover for them. They can go right to this page and say, oh, this one listed right here sounds perfect. They're not having to make it up themselves, and they're not coming to you with a topic that you might not be that excited about. They're coming to you with your signature topic. Then when you do that, you can pre-record presentations for those signature topics so you have them ready to go. You might find that you need to edit the beginning or the end or shorten things up, crop something out of the video, re-record with a few slides removed, but you're not having to create a presentation totally from scratch every single time. I have about 5 presentations where if someone pitches me, I'm going to say, heck yes, of course, depending on some promotional requirements, because I have a presentation I can upload straight to that email and say, here's the presentation, because it's already recorded and ready to go. If there's a summit with an interview, things like that, that'll look a little different. Cool, hop on that 30-minute interview and deliver your good stuff. But if you can make it easy on yourself by having pre-recorded presentations, you are going to love that. It's going to make everything just so nice for you. And then the last thing I want to talk about is set yourself up to benefit. This is the last way you can be a good summit speaker. So look at the way the host is setting you up to benefit and take advantage of those things. Again, you are going to look like a star summit speaker by showing up for the host, and it's going to benefit you as well. So look at, can you pitch at the end of the presentation? And if you can, which I hope you can, all hosts should allow you to at least pitch a freebie. Mention a freebie highly related to your presentation topic. So this freebie should help attendees implement whatever they learned or take a next step. You could even present it at the beginning of your presentation as something for them to follow along with as they're going through, if that's okay with the host. These are the things that are going to get you the most opt-ins and the most return from being a part of this event. From there, also set up a tripwire offer for when someone signs up for your freebie. So they're watching your presentation, they go download your freebie, boom, they instantly get an offer that they can buy for you, for a low price. Get that first sale out of the way and let you start seeing a return for the summit right away. So I'm going to link to a freebie from Eden Freed in the show notes, all about setting up a high-performing tripwire offer, but that is a great way for you to make sure you're benefiting. And then, of course, make sure that opt-in and tripwire connects to a solid funnel that converts well for you. Make sure it's going to present people with whatever your other offers are. So, can you pitch at the end of a presentation? If so, take advantage of that. Another way you can set yourself up to benefit is take advantage of other ways you can connect with attendees. So if you can be a part of a live panel, if you can go live in the Facebook group, do an extra Q&A, anything like that, do it. Connect with those attendees. Make that live connection with them, because nothing pre-recorded can top what kind of connection you can make in return you can get with something live. So take advantage of those things. And then I will just kind of wrap that section up to say, all of this only works if you're careful to only say yes to events that have the right audience for you. You can do all of these things perfectly, but if the audience isn't a right fit, who cares if you get 500 subscribers if they're all the wrong people and not going to be interested in what other things you have to offer? So make sure you're saying yes to those perfect fit events. So I hope you've seen a pattern in this episode. Being a good speaker isn't just about making the host happy. It's about keeping you happy and enjoying the process as well. And as important as it is to hit deadlines and promote for your host, I'm just as concerned with making sure you're saying yes to the right events and making it easy on yourself. So some action steps for today. First, if you want to do more speaking, get on the Virtual Summit Search speaker directory. It's a free directory you can get listed on, and that's an easy place for hosts to go and see that you would love to speak at their summit. From there, get clear, or maybe first you should get clear on who your ideal audience is for summits so that you know which opportunities you'll say yes and no to. And then brainstorm a few signature presentation topics, or start with just one. So you can, maybe for your next summit, you suggest one of those topics and then have that to reuse or use as a baseline for future summits that you're a part of. So thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. For show notes and resources mentioned, head to summitHostHangout.com/113. Now go out and take action to plan, strategize, and launch your profitable online summit.